this is really a talk about Unomi helping with basically processing data and storing data for customers. So a quick introduction for those of you who don't know me. So I have a lot of experience building software. I actually was the initial creator of the Apache Unomi customer data platform. It was not something that I wanted to do. It was just that there was no such thing as an open source data platform at the time I started, so it was a need. I just started a new company, talk a little bit more about that afterwards, but I'm also somebody that likes challenges a lot. And of course, I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe in open source and community, mostly because I don't like to be alone in front of, next to my computer. All right, so I have some current ventures. So Inoyu, which is my startup, which just started this year. The idea is really to build value on top of Unomi, bring it to the market, and make it easy to use. I also offer services on top of it. There's a lot of big users of Unomi, and some of them I don't even know about because it's Apache projects. You never know who's using it. And the other one is in the healthcare market. So I'm acting as a strategy and technical officer there. And what's really interesting is actually bridging the two. It's actually working in the healthcare and in the customer data platform markets because there's differences, but there's also some similarities. So I'm also looking at if there's possibilities, for example, to use Unomi in the healthcare market. So very quickly, I have a question for you guys. Who knows what a CDP is? Okay, good, thank you. So I'll quickly explain what it is because it's not very well known. Then we'll talk about what Unomi brings to it. I'll talk a little bit also about what's happening with Unomi. And then I'll talk more about the power of integrating this into data pipelines and why it's really interesting. And hopefully I'll go fast enough because I have a live demo that didn't work until 2 hours ago. So hopefully it will work. And I hope I'll have time to show it because it's been a lot of work and it's hopefully the best way to understand all of this. So I'm sure all of you, if you work with data, you know these problems. You have customer data that's scattered across tons of systems. Analytics and operational data may not always match. You have really ID and marketing that are pretty much fighting against each other rather than working together. A lot of people have real-time requirements, but they're actually managing them with batch processes. Privacy compliance is pretty much a nightmare, especially nowadays with the new standards. And there is no real single source of truth for customer data. So what is a customer data platform? So it's a way to try to address that. So it's a packaged solution. And basically the idea is to unify all the information that you have about customers inside a single system. It's often marketer managed. The idea is to build unified profiles. So even if you have information about your customers in different systems like CRMs, support systems, even analytics, stuff like that, you can bring it all together. The other thing is it gives you low-level access to the raw data. So for example, if you're collecting behavioral data about your customers, you can access it. And the last one is really the real-time capability, which is really important, being able to immediately act upon what's going on with a customer. So you have different market sizes for CDPs. You have, of course, the large ones, Salesforce, Adobe, or Oracle, big markets. Then you have also, in the open source, I forgot one here. There's another one, but I don't remember its name right now. But basically, it was based on Apache Unomi initially, and now it went to do its own thing. But Unomi is really the biggest CDP in the open source world, and it was for a while the only one. And then you have entry tiers, which is where I'm positioning my company. And the idea is really to bring this technology that is, for the moment, mostly used by large companies into more small and medium enterprise markets. Just to give you an idea of the market size, so this might be surprising since you don't know, a lot of people are not familiar with it, but it's projected to reach $13 billion by 2026. And yeah, it's growing really fast. So Unomi, Apache Unomi, so it's the first open source CDP. There was none before. It's built in Java. It provides a REST API to do all of the stuff that it can do. It embeds a rules engine that allows you to do real-time event processing. It also has a segmentation engine to segment the profiles. It has built-in privacy systems by design. So, for example, you can manage the consents of customers. And it can do real-time data processing. So it was created in 2015. And whoa, I just realized we reached 10 years. And it graduated as a top-level project in 2029. So if we look at sort of the blocks involved in Unomi, you have data ingestion. You have the processing engine that contains the rules, segmentation, stuff like that. You have the storage layer. So by default, Unomi uses Elasticsearch to store its data, but support for OpenSearch is just around the corner. The API layer has, so I talked about the REST API, but there's also a GraphQL API. And of course, external integrations. So these are plugins that allow you to connect to CRMs, marketings, and other data sources. So this is a sort of a different way of presenting things, but it's pretty much the same thing. So I just want to talk about the event collection. So basically, really the idea is that you have profiles which represent users or customers, and then you have events that are whatever these people are doing, and you want to track it. That can trigger the rules engine. That can say, oh, this event is coming in. I want to react in real time to it. I want to do something about it. You can also segment, so you can say, based on what I know about the customer, I want to put them in different segments. And of course, a storage layer, which I talked about already. So what can you do with it? So most of the use cases are, for example, web personalization, cross-channel targeting. So that's really interesting because you can easily integrate Unomi with different touch points, even physical ones. Concept management, of course, I talked about that. Aggregating all the different data from different systems. And data governance is also a way to address this. So very quickly about the roadmap. So Unomi just released 2.7.0 last week. There were some improvements in performance. There were some improvements, and basically the version 2 now is in maintenance mode, more likely. Version 3, so it's about to release this month. We're finishing the work on supporting Elasticsearch 9 because it was lagging a little bit in the versions. Also, it's using the Apache Karaf as a runtime, and so we're bringing it back to the latest version, supporting JDK 17 and, of course, higher versions because Unomi was still supporting JDK 11 before that. And then we have although it's coming up just 1 month later, a very big update in terms of features, multi-tenancy support, cluster-aware scheduling, OpenSearch support, and improvements in developer tools, let's say. So that's really what's going on. And after this, I think that version 3 will probably be a version that will be very useful for quite a while. So again, you can integrate it with all kinds of things: mobile applications, web analytics, CRM systems, e-commerce platforms, and also marketing automation and support ticketing. So this is an example of integration that is actually a production one. I know a customer that is using NiFi and Unomi together. And that's a really interesting thing, because basically they're collecting web data in Unomi and sending it through Kafka directly to NiFi, and then they update the profiles inside of Unomi using NiFi. So it's a very good way to see how different integration systems can work. One of the ways you can think of Unomi is it's an opinionated data store. So if you have like data lake houses that have lots of very different data, you can extract all the information about customers from those data lake houses and then store it in Unomi, and then you can act upon it. So yeah, this is one of the most standard use cases is building web analytics integration. So connecting site behavior to profiles, page clips, A/B testing. You can do personalization. This is where most people start with Unomi, I would say. This is also a use case that could be interesting, is where you have CRMs that are capable of pushing data into Kafka, and then you could retrieve what they're sending in Unomi, and because it's also possible to use Kafka as an input system in Unomi. Support ticket integration. So here again, the idea is it's not just because you see a customer on the web that you don't need to know what's happening for him in support. So it could also be very interesting to see, is this person having problems? And you might want to change their web experience or other experiences based on what's happening in the support. There's also, of course, as you're having all of these different systems connected to a central repository for customer information, you might want to be able to merge or deduplicate information. So there's different ways of doing that. Unomi currently supports mostly deterministic matching. Probabilistic is not implemented for the moment, but it's something that some people, for example, use NiFi or other systems to do. So it can merge profiles based on different criteria. One of the things that's also very important, because this actually came from the real world, is when you start integrating with systems that are public-facing, you do need to make sure that you're not collecting garbage data. So Unomi 2 introduced schema validation, making sure that the data that's coming in is following certain pre-established formats. And then you can, of course, deduplicate, enrich, however you want. So in terms of privacy, so when the GDPR came into effect, Unomi was the first software system I'm aware of that actually had support for consent management. And so really the idea is that it's very easy to just store consents for customers. So it's a good place to put it. And again, as it's a system that can be deployed on premise, you could very easily do that without having to rely on a third party. At the same time, you can also implement the right to be forgotten. So among the consents, there's also the possibility to say, I want to remove my consent or I want to delete my data. So that's something that's also built into Unomi. So you can have different ways to be compliant with different rules. All right. I went a little bit fast until now because I wanted to have some time for the demo. Do you have any questions before I get into the demo? Okay. So this is where it starts getting dangerous for me because, as I said, this is not something that I had a lot of time to rehearse. So this is sort of the scenario we'll be looking at, is a customer that's basically orders a product and he has a problem with it. And so the question is, what can we do about it, and how can we centralize all the information about what's going on with him to be able to offer a better experience? So I'm going to just go into it. All right. So basically, I'm a customer of this bakery. So it's a bakery that has online ordering. And I'm interested in the company. So this is just a small vibe-coded site where you have all the different products that you can order. And so one of the first things is I already created an account for my profile. And actually, I already gave it some information like my Twitter account, my Facebook ID, and my Bluesky ID. And I can then start ordering things. So the first thing you'll notice is that I have these food allergies here that will filter the products that I want. So I can say I have a nuts and eggs allergy. And then I will only get the products that will fit my allergies. Now, if we go into the CDP, so this is the UI that's built on top of Apache Unomi. So you can see here that I have all the profiles that have been interacting with Unomi recently, and the difference between a CDP and a CRM is that a CRM is an identified customer. In a CDP, it might be somebody we don't know much about yet. So we have profiles where we don't have a lot of information. But here, as I'm already logged in to my user, I can see more information about him because I know his name. And I can also go see some properties about his profile, like last visits, number of visits. But if I go down here, I see, for example, the Bluesky ID that he put in, and I can also see the allergies. So you see here it says nuts and eggs. But if I go back to the website, and I change this to say that I'm also allergic to gluten, here if I just refresh, where is it here? You can see here that in real time, my CDP knows that I've added this allergy. So this is really the idea is that you can get this information right away and act upon it. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to order here. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to add some things, and I'm just going to go through here a basic process to place an order. And yeah, so so far as a customer, I'm happy. I've selected the products I wanted and everything. But now let's say it's been 2 weeks and my order hasn't shown up. So that's not normal. And I've been not very patient, and I'm pretty mad now. So I want to complain. And rather than actually writing to them, I prefer to make a big nonsense about it. So what I'm going to do is go on social media and complain about it. So what I'll do here is that as a user, I have a Bluesky account. So if you're wondering why you're using Bluesky instead of Twitter, is because Bluesky's API access is free, whereas Twitter's is $200 a month. So I had a demo working last year with Twitter. I was really happy with it, and I had to rewrite the whole thing because Elon Musk got hungry. So let's write a post here. So I'm going to say, hey, and I'm going to target the user of the bakery, and I'm going to say, I am very upset because it's been 2 weeks since I ordered and I don't have any news, and this is unacceptable. I'm just making this up. I don't know what exactly I'm going to write. So here, now, this is not something you want as a company. I mean, this is like one of the worst things that can happen. So now you're suddenly in damage control mode. And with the CDP, what you can do is you can start integrating this with systems that will help figure out what's going on with your customers and react really quickly. So what I'm going to do here is I have an integration with Bluesky. I had the Twitter one, but it's not working anymore. And now what I can do is, normally this could be automated, but for the purpose of the demo, I have a button to poll. And let's do a check. All right, so that's, when it takes some time, it's a good news. So basically what's going on is that you'll see it's doing quite a lot of things. So it's found mentions. At my previous test, I complained, but it's been 10 years since I got I was waiting for 10 years for my order. So basically what's happened here is the system has detected the complaint on the social media, but it's done a lot more than that. What it's done is that it automatically sent a notification on a Slack channel to notify a marketer about this problem. But it went even further than that. So if I go to the Slack channel, I see there's a new Bluesky mention from this user. And this is the part. And here I have 3 answers that have been prepared by an LLM to answer back to that guy. And I could, of course, even write my own here in Slack. But I'm a lazy marketing guy, so I'm just going to use one of these options. So I'm going to say here, I'm not even sure well, let's go with number 2. So I'm just going to write number 2 here. And now I can go back again to my integrations here. And I can say, OK, I want to, again, as I said, this should be normally running in the background. But for the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to poll it. And now, basically, the system is going to see, OK, there's been an answer that's selected. So now here, it gives me a little check to say I've processed this answer. And if we look at, let's go back to normally if it worked. Yep. Now I have the answer that's been posted on Bluesky. So directly addressing and starting de-escalating the system. But that's not all that happened. So one of the things that I also wanted to do is I also wanted to integrate with a CRM. So the idea is to be able to say that I know this is an identified customer. So I want to make sure that the data that's inside my CDP is also synchronized with a CRM. And so basically what you can see here is that this is a user that came from the Unomi CDP. And we even have here the Unomi profile ID so that I can match this user with the different things. And you can see here that I also have, for example, the allergies. I didn't map all the fields, but it would be pretty easy to do. But you can see that we also have the data that's also in the CRM. So this is something that you can choose to do however you want. I mean, I'm showing you an integration demo that's very specific. So now oh no, it worked, OK. So now what happened is I went back to the website because I got a message that said, you should come back to us. And so I go back to the website, and I see here a message that showed up just for me. And that said, we're very sorry. So here it repeats, but I could have customized it. And it said, we'd like to offer you 20% off your order. So here, immediately, I've personalized the experience of the user that complained about it publicly. And there's a good chance he'll be satisfied. So I'm closing the problem here. So as we can see here, then we have basically in the profile all the latest information that is stored in the properties. And I also have the last purchase. I have information, for example, about the last time I synced to HubSpot. I can have, I talked about the consents. So I also have here all the different consents related to the user. So here I can say he's agreed to analytics, he's agreed to marketing, he hasn't agreed to personalization, and he's agreed to cookies and stuff like that. So all of this is directly built into the system. What else can I show so far? Yeah, so that's, yeah, you can there's a lot more that will be coming. So what you have to realize is that this UI here is just doing direct queries to Unomi. It's just every single of these screens is just a very simple REST query to Unomi. It's really Unomi that's doing all the heavy lifting. Even these graphs are just queries to its query engine that does these aggregations and stuff. There's very little that's done on the UI itself. Okay, so yeah, how can you make this work for yourself? So really the idea is to start small. I showed you a pretty complex demo where I was integrating Slack, I was integrating Bluesky, I was integrating a CRM, I was integrating a website, all these things. With Unomi, you can start wherever you want. For example, you could, for example, very easily integrate it as well with a mobile app. There's really no restrictions. You can, of course, here, the demo I've shown you, every single system, except for Slack and systems that were outside, could be stored on my computer. I don't have to go to third-party services. The LLM could be run locally on my machine. So all this customer data doesn't have to go to any third party. Unomi also supports multiple identifiers for profiles. So you can store, this is not something I showed, but on the Unomi side, you can also store the HubSpot ID, for example, so that you can keep those relationships between the different systems. You can also define how you want to handle the data. You can build plugins. One of the ways you can extend Unomi is using just Groovy actions that can be deployed through the REST API. So you don't even have to deploy something onto Unomi and rebuild the system. You could directly run the Docker image, just send the Groovy action, which is actually what is being done here, and run it. And of course, Unomi has a small team. So if you're interested in participating, and we're really looking for all kinds of participations, including people just telling us that our documentation sucks and it should be better. That's fine. We really want to get the word out about this type of technology and what it enables. And I think that's it. Yep. Any questions? Yes?
So this is supposed to be run in a single server? Do you have HA or something like that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that because I'm not sure I understood.
So is Unomi is supposed to be run in a single server.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a high availability?
Yes. So Unomi has no state itself. It delegates all the storage to Elasticsearch. So then, you can scale Elasticsearch or OpenSearch as you want. And Unomi also has supports clustering, so you can basically, Unomi is pretty lightweight in terms of computation. The most intensive thing it does is evaluate the rules, and based on the conditions that it has inside the rules, and then executes actions. So that's a perfect way if you, for example, see that the CPU is being overloaded, you could just add nodes of Unomi in real time, and it'll automatically take the load off. So there's really, most installs run 3-node clusters. And but here for the demo, of course, here I have Elasticsearch, Unomi, the UI. All running locally. The only sort of things that are not running on my laptop are, of course, Slack, Bluesky, and for the moment, the LLM I'm using OpenAI. But you could very well use an LLM on your own servers. And one thing I should say is that we have installs that are managing over 20 million profiles with 3 servers. And if you have what we do is we usually give a ratio of 1 to 10 between the number of profiles and events. So if you have 20 million profiles, you have about 200 million events. And so the system works really well. It's really important to properly provision Elasticsearch. So make sure you're careful with that, but that's really something that's well known and works well. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you very much.